Welcome to Horrors Yet Unseen, the podcast where we assign each other horror movies to watch and then talk about it so our spouses don't have to listen to us go on and on and on about scary stuff they don't like. I'm Zach.
And I'm Steve. Let's talk about some scary movies. By the way, there will absolutely be spoilers in this show. You have been warned.
Dude, bro.
What's up with this? What's up? What's going on?
This dude.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, so I just finished the movie Creep.
Yeah. Is it one of the best titled movies?
Okay. It might be, if I'm being objective.
Yep.
I'm not too sure how many stars it's worth. Okay? Mainly because I'm filled with very, a complexity of emotion.
Okay. Okay.
I contain multitudes, yo. And so, because on one hand, I'm like, I'm too creeped out to give it any stars. But on the other hand, I'm like, this is low-key a great movie.
Yeah.
It does its job.
The fact that it
so
creeps you
well.
out is, it's like, it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From the moment that you meet him. Like, from the moment that he sneakingly pops up on camera as that guy is waiting in his car. Which I knew was going to happen. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the jump scare. I'm waiting for the jump scare because there has to be one. And I still don't know how the guy got scared. Because, like, I
got scared.
In that initial jump scare, he's sitting in his car facing forward.
I'm sorry, I don't remember that first one.
Okay, he's sitting in his car. He knocks on the door, sits in his car, facing forward because he's like, he's not home or whatever. I'll just wait here. Now I'm already yelling at my iPad. Just leave.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm like,
many opportunities.
I'm watching this movie called Creep, and I am like, I kind of suppose what's going to happen. No way this dude's making it out alive. There's no way.
No chance.
This is your opportunity to leave. He's not home. Just leave.
Uh-huh.
Right? So I'm already like 5 minutes in, like, dude, turn your car on, in reverse, back out of the driveway. Get the heck out of there. But from, like, he sneaks up on his driver's side door, not from the rear, like from the front of the car. And I'm like, well, you're facing forward. Are you like looking over towards the passengers? He must have been doing that. I'm overthinking that particular part, but oh my gosh, man. And then freaking Tubby time. Oh, dude.
Oh.
Like, so, out the gate.
Out the gate.
He's
drawers.
Just like, hey, come inside. I have cancer. Here's my sad story.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take a bath. And you're like, what?
I want you to film me doing it.
I want you to film me for my son. Yeah. I want you to film me for my son. Are you on board? Yeah, I'm on board. Okay, I'm going to go get in the tub. And I'm like, time out. Turn around, walk out the door. I'm out. Here's your $1,000 back. Bye.
How long in the movie did it go before you realized that this guy he did not have cancer, and he was just like trolling for people to kill?
From the moment I saw him.
Okay.
I went in. Not, I didn't like. I don't remember seeing the trailer. I put
Yeah.
this on my watch list like a long time ago. Like
Yeah,
probably when
yeah.
it came out, I was like, oh, I'll get around to watching this. And then 2 happened, and I was like, oh, I'll get around to watching this. I just never have.
Yep.
But I don't think you go into this type of movie. At least I didn't. I didn't go into this movie thinking, oh, everything's gonna be fine, or he's telling the truth, or I went into this. I didn't go into this movie expecting the ending to play out like it did.
Oh, that was
Like when he. No, I'm talking about like when he opened up when he went to his actual house. And he opened up the cabinet doors, and you see all those VHS tapes. And I'm like, holy snot, dude. Holy cow.
Yes.
Didn't expect that, to have a prolific serial killer.
Right.
Didn't expect that. But I did expect him to be a killer from the moment. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this story, now, it did give me, I forget what the heck his name. Aaron, when Aaron picked up the phone, and whatever her name is, Jebecca, I don't know what Angela, I don't know what his wife's name was that turned out to be his sister. Like
right.
when that reveal happened, I was like, oh crap, like it did feel fresh. But yeah, dude. How did you feel watching this movie?
Well,
because you've seen both of them, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen 1 and 2, and
okay. I haven't seen 2 yet.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need at least a month to decompress.
As good or better than this.
Oh, dang! Okay,
it really is. It's a great sequel. Can you hear the dog barking?
I can.
Dad, come on, stupid freaking. So Noah's starting a D&D thing with his friends.
Got it.
And
so strangers are over at the house and dogs freaking out.
Right. And so, perfect timing.
Oh, it's dude. That happens on a daily basis here.
Oh yeah, it's like
the mailman every day.
Yep. People delivering stuff like milk delivery, whatever.
Milk delivery.
Yeah, I live in Mayberry. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that, dude. You're next to Andy Griffith, bro.
I will admit, the first time when I saw this movie, I've only seen it one time. I wanted to watch it again because it's just like. There's something about this movie that's so obviously creepy, but the guy who plays the bad dude, he is so good.
He's so good.
He's so believable, and he's so good, and it's so creepy. But I didn't catch. I thought he was actually like. I also knew nothing about the movie. I knew that it was called Creep. That's all I knew.
Right.
And it was highly recommended by some people. I didn't catch on that he wasn't a person with cancer or anything for a while. I was like, yeah, just kind of going along for the ride. I wasn't as doubtful and suspicious as you were. Obviously.
Oh yeah. From jump, I was suspicious of this movie.
Well, I mean, I knew something was weird with the guy, but I didn't know if it was like like I said, knew nothing. I thought maybe it was about a guy who was just creepy, and like made people uncomfortable, and was like weirded people out, and I don't know. I didn't know he was going to be a serial killer that killed like 50 people or something crazy, because like all this, like you said, all those tapes,
yeah,
and just the fact that he's so eerie to interact with one-on-one, and he comes up with the weirdest things to do. And he films it all.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so many layers to this serial killer.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well, then I don't know how many minutes in I went into the movie. At some point you just kind of realized, okay, this guy's going to die. And for me, that moment was like Aaron is going to die. That moment was really early on in the movie.
Yeah.
But then I started to think like, in one of my pause sessions, because I
Yeah.
paused this movie several times to really process what the heck and just be like, I don't want to. It's so creepy. It's part of the reason why I like to watch movies at home
Sure, you pause them
is
and stuff.
is the ability to pause and really
Absorb.
process what
Yeah.
and exactly process and absorb. So like in the episode that dropped today, I said I don't want to go see In a Violent
Episode
Nature.
19.
Yeah. I said I don't want to go see In a Violent Nature because I'm scared.
And that's why. So you can pause it if you.
It's because I want to pause it and really
Right.
because some movies are so heavy, like especially horror
Yeah.
movies. Some movies are
Oh, yeah.
so heavy.
Yeah.
I can't drink. I need to come up for air.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be
Yeah.
down and being waterboarded for 2 hours. I can't do that. And
Yeah, waterboard. It's a good analogy. Yeah.
I can't do it. They're just so, once they pick up and they don't let up. And this is kind of one of the movies that it's such a good job being creepy.
Yeah.
That from the moment that you meet him, the accelerator does slowly start to get pressed down even further.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I needed a couple moments to really also just pausing just to scream at my iPad and be like, dude, get the heck out of there. Like, why are you still sticking around?
He had so many opportunities.
Well, he drugs him.
Yeah.
He drugs him. He can't find his keys. So I was like, oh, dang. Paused it. I was like, dude, I can't find my keys. I paused it. I was like, oh, no. This is the moment. And then I checked. How many minutes do I got left in this movie? Oh, he's not going to die now. No way he's going to die now. We got too many, we're not even halfway through yet. So then hit play, can't find, he knocks him out. I don't really know how he does it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know until the end that it's like the empty bottle of Benadryl, right? Like you don't know that. But you assume that because he's like, this tastes weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like he's still doing a little shtick of trying to record and such a good job acting. A good job acting. Like both the actual actor and the character he's playing is doing a good job acting.
Right. He's acting as a person who's pretending to be something else.
Right.
Which is that's going to be hard to pull off.
But he does such a good job. And then he gets knocked out and I immediately go, leave, abandon your car and walk out the door and just start walking. Don't worry. You don't need a phone. At some point, you'll come to a house, rap on the door, and explain to them the situation and get the heck out of there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, just go. But he's like, oh, well, I need to, like, find out. No, you don't. Run. Like, how many signs do you need? So by the time the actual ending comes.
Yep. Well, the guys on the bench, that part.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went, and then he goes, Aaron, why didn't you look behind you? I thought, freaking duh, dude. Freaking duh. And he goes, it's because you're the best person in the world.
Yeah. So I got to kill you.
So okay. I'm having this conversation. I'm getting ready to go to a trade show at the end of the month.
Okay.
And I'm having this conversation with a coworker because they're coming with me to help me set up the booth and just kind of be there. So we have a lot to do. Like even just after the trade show, there's like I think like the first day we set up the booth, and then there's like a welcome party, and then there is like an after hours party. I'm like, I'm already exhausted.
Those things have so many parties.
and then like the next day we do basically a half day of a trade show, because it doesn't start until like 12:45 or whatever the case is. It ends at 5. Then we got invited to another welcome party, and then after that we're going to another event. Like, it's just back to back to back, and
Yeah.
I can feel my inner introvert just being like, pump the brakes, just go back to your hotel room,
It's exhausting.
turn on the office, and just chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just order DoorDash and like have it delivered to the hotel. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I can feel. But anyway, we get invited to this party. These people who invited us, hope they never listen to this, they they aren't exhibitors at the trade show, which seems a bit odd to me.
Huh.
Only odd because I don't know the answer to it. I'm saying a lot, right? I'm realizing I'm saying a lot. I'm setting up this point though.
Sure, yeah.
And the party that they invited us to is not at their office, so their HQ is in the city we're going to go to.
Okay.
They are a snow and ice company. So they're just like, hey, we're going to invite a bunch of people who are going to be going to this snow and ice event to come and network and mingle and blah, 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 whatever. So, but the party is not happening at their headquarters. It's happening at like this I looked it up on Zillow. It's a $2 million house that kind of overlooks the city.
Wow.
And I was like, so I've been talking to the coworkers are going to go with me, and I'm like, dude, we might lose. This sounds very much like we're going to lose a kidney, maybe, or like I've seen too many scary movies to where like this turns out badly for people who aren't paying attention, and they're like, oh, it's not going to be that bad, and I'm like, but like, it could be. And now after seeing the movie Creep, I don't want to go to the trade show. I don't want to go anywhere that's outside my house. Like, yeah, it's so much. And this movie is, but it's perfect. It's also like if you were going to make a movie called Creep.
Yeah.
This is the movie you would make.
Oh, yeah.
There is no notes I have.
Yeah.
There are no notes.
I was kind of surprised by the lack of a better term, the balance of it, because like you said, it leads in real slow, just like a dude, like, hey, record me for my son's posterity, whatever.
Right.
But then he gets in the bath, like, keep filming me, Yeah.
And
then it keeps, as it ramps, it does a good job of not being, I guess the balance, what I guess what I'm getting at is, it does a good job of showing how he's a creep, but at the same time giving you the vibe that, like, helping you understand why the other guy doesn't pick up on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because the other guy is a super nice guy, and he's trying to be a friend to this man he just met who's clearly has problems. And so I understand why he didn't expect that he was going to get killed. Did he say he's a killer? No.
He heavily alludes to it if he doesn't say it directly. I don't remember him saying it in the end, that like he talks about Aaron being his favorite, how Aaron's always going to be his favorite. And then you obviously see the videotapes and the DVDs at the end.
Yeah.
So it heavily alludes to the fact that this isn't his first, it won't be his last kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's also a good one-off. It doesn't need a 2.
No.
Like, and so the fact that you're like, oh, 2 is actually a really good movie. It does a really good job, and maybe even might be better than the first one. This might be one of those I don't want to say rare cases, but at least rare cases in the history of our podcast so far where we're like, oh, like this does need a 2. I'm glad that it's getting a 3. I do want more. It does leave you kind of wanting more, but also I'm like, full stop, turn the car off. I want to get out of the car. Too creeped out. I don't want any more, but also I want everything. I want a prequel. I want to know how this got started.
I heard they're going to do a 3, but then I sent you that article a couple days ago that I assume kind of spurred you on to watch this about how the guy, the main guy, they're doing a TV show.
Is it a series?
I think it's a series. I'm trying to find that link that I sent you, but
yeah.
But I mean, that would be cool. That as a series, that'd be, because obviously they got plenty to. They've set up the fact that this guy is a killer of a lot of people, and they could like show a lot of that.
Yeah,
but woof.
It's sometimes very I don't know. This is a perfect movie to really describe why I like to watch horror movies at home. It's because I just need time to really process it. I need time to hit the pause button, go make myself a coffee. Hit the play button, watch it for a little while, hit the pause button, and just have a moment to be like, I need to process this real quick, and then 30 seconds later, I'm back in. Just having that ability to do that. I don't always feel that way. Like the time that I saw Immaculate in theaters.
Yeah.
That was perfectly fine. I would still like to see that movie at home and really dive into all of that kind of stuff a little bit better.
Yeah.
Man, this movie is...
Oh, the show is called The Creep Tapes.
Yeah.
And it's a half-hour show. Apparently it's been already filmed, and they're now looking for a distributor for it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. At one point, I was thinking to myself, how are we watching this? Because he dies. Like, how in the world? Because
watching what?
The movie.
Oh, because the film guy dies.
So he calls a guy wants him to come and film. I went into this movie thinking Aaron's gonna die. And then at one point, I remember thinking, how are we watching this? Like, if Aaron does survive...
Was that answered for you at the end?
It was, because he's basically editing the video at the end of the movie.
Right.
Or rewatching it, or whatever the case is. And also, he kills him in broad daylight, bro.
Right, in a park?
In a park. There's houses on the hill in front of Aaron.
Yeah, and
how?
That's what this guy seems to do, you know?
How did no one see this? How did no one see him hit him in the head with an axe? Spoiler alert.
With a giant like the wolf mask on?
Yeah. Mr. Wiggles or Mr. Fuzzy Butt or whatever his name is. I don't know. Like, and also, I never bought that for a moment.
What?
That, because he was like, first, time out. Let's back up. Aaron has one of the greatest screams, like surprise, scared screams I've heard. Yeah. He does such a good job at just reacting and screaming. The jump scares in this are, man, they're good. Well, especially like that one at the end. Like, because I don't know. He run. There are some that kind of get set up that way. Like he runs off into hey, did you see that? And he runs off into the woods, and I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna get scared here, so let's just get it over with, rip the freaking Band-Aid off. But at the end, hits him in the head, pauses the tape, turns the camera around, is like, Aaron, I love you, blah, 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 all this stuff. Turns the camera back around, hits play, and then comes up to Aaron's camera in the car and scares. And then, yeah, I was like, whoa, holy cow. What? And then immediately, title card, Creep. And I'm like, oh, dang, that's just the end of the movie. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
I mean, so in your opinion, I assume yes, but are serial killer movies horror movies? Or are they thriller movies?
I think that, okay.
Or does it matter?
So you could go, Friday the 13th was a horror movie, not a thriller, because to me, because we get to see several kills in a wide variety of ways.
Okay.
But this movie, there was really only one. Surprisingly, for getting hit in the head, there was very little blood.
That's far away.
And yeah. And it was more psychologically thrilling for the majority of it. So I wouldn't necessarily call this movie a horror movie. I would call this movie a psychological thriller.
It's definitely scary.
It's definitely scary.
Yeah. It's one of the, I think serial killer movies in general are kind of on the border, but I'm fine calling them either one, because if you think of how a monster, like a lot of people think, well, horror movies have monsters in them. Well, this guy's a freaking monster, but different kind of monster, But I was just kind of curious what your opinion was all.
Yeah, it's such in this particular case, it's such a fine line between the two, but it's definitely, I don't know. Either way, it's worth talking about. This movie is so good. It's worth talking about.
So good.
And it's one of those movies you see. This is why we're doing this right now, is because we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I texted you not far into the movie and was like, I can't wait to talk about this because I have just a massive amount of feelings about this movie. And yeah. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I did not buy for 1 second the wolf character is this friendly wolf.
Yeah.
Because wolves aren't friendly.
Well, and that mask he has on is not a friendly wolf mask. That's like
it's not.
It's a scary wolf mask.
Yeah. I also did not believe him when he's like, oh yeah, my wife watches a bunch of animal pornography. So I took her to our cabin in the woods or whatever and then broke into the house. Like, I didn't buy it. I was like no way, dude. You totally murdered your wife in this mask. Not once did I buy into the idea that you're like, oh, and we finally repaired our marriage. Nope. You killed that woman. I love the fact that
if she existed, if she even existed. Right?
No, it's a total fabrication. There's no way she existed. Yeah, his family, he doesn't have a family. He kind of admits that maybe at the end, but you really don't even know this guy. The only thing that you know about him, truly know, is at the end when he's on the phone with another victim. And he's like, oh yeah, just come to the house and I want you to record. That's what you know about him. So when he goes at the end and he's like, well, when I found the DVD in the trash, that disappointed me. When I found the locket in the trash. It broke my
Uh,
heart. And then he goes, I want to be honest with you. I don't have any friends. My whole thinking is like, this is still a lie.
yeah.
He's just trying to get him to a place where he
He's
can kill him.
he's playing on all of his like buttons. You can tell the guy he's a sympathetic man, the Aaron. So the killer guy, does he have a name?
Joseph?
Yeah, is his name Joseph? The
That's the
killer?
name he tells people.
Well, he's Joseph really plays on Aaron's desire to help others.
Uh-huh.
I know he quickly pegs that he's a guy who wants to do that. So by saying I don't have any friends, it's like he was almost pulled away, and when he said I don't have any friends, suddenly the empathy of Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
it's like oh, and even watching the movie myself, I'm like that's kind of sad, because I was kind of going along for the ride as though I was Aaron, just like
Terrible
what's
idea.
going on.
Aaron got
But-
hit in the head with an axe, bro. You got to be more skeptical.
I didn't know that at the beginning, dude.
I didn't know it at the beginning either, but I still was like, screw this guy. Get the heck out of there.
But like by playing on his desire to help and not and his what he would probably consider weaknesses, he just pulls him in, and
Yeah.
it's like the killer. He's such a pathological liar.
Mhm.
Everything is a lie. You don't know what's going on at all. Nothing's real. Nothing's true.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I do like how I think I mentioned this before, but I like how when you get to the end and he kills the guy when he's sitting on the pit bench, I kind of had this thought in my mind like maybe it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna come up and like he's gonna take out the axe and like I'll decide to put it down, and sit down next to the guy. Like he's found the friend that he needed to find in order to take him out of this life of craziness.
Well,
But no, he hits him in the head with an axe.
he takes a moment.
Yeah.
So it's like he's savoring it. The wolf is a very good analogy for this movie because he is savoring his prey.
Yeah.
Like the real thrill is the hunt.
Yeah.
It's not the kill. The kill is the end of that thrill. So
it's like he has to do that part,
Right. He still has to complete the task.
Right.
But part of the creepiness of this movie is how long of there's some movies like I think you had mentioned at least to me about your review of In a Violent Nature where you're like they followed the camera is basically like behind the guy the whole time.
Yeah.
And some of those long walking through the woods scenes could have been tapered down 15 seconds. And like, I didn't feel that way at all about this movie. All of the long shots were there for a reason. That's why I said this movie has no notes as far as it has. The only problem I guess I would have with it is the fact that like, first off, the cops are 100% the most useless cops in any movie I've ever seen ever. Because Joseph, they from the moment they do not take Aaron seriously.
Yeah.
Like they're like, does he have a last name? I don't know his last name. Okay, then your whole story is, and maybe that's part of the quote unquote crying wolf.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into that, but
he's kind of like literally crying wolf because it's a wolf.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it because there's a wolf? Like that is a theme kind of in the movie, but that. Besides that, and the fact that he killed him in broad daylight and nobody was freaking there,
right?
Nobody saw it and nobody cared, and I was like, how, like in real life, how would that be that you'd be in this completely wide open space with little to no trees. Like you're literally in front of a lake, so it's completely wide open, and you just hit a dude in the head with an axe. How does that even logistically take place and nobody's there to see you in the middle of the freaking
Yeah.
day? But other than that, like no notes, because his pausing only adds tension. The long drawn outness of this movie only adds to the creepy factor. And but yeah, I would agree. Like there's a moment when he does like raise the axe behind his head, and I'm like, oh well, maybe.
Yeah.
And then he comes down, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking about the scene in the park, and it's filmed kind of really far away,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't really see what's going on. But I was thinking about how if I'm walking through a park, middle of the freaking day like that, and I see a dude with a mask on and a axe, I would be thinking they're filming a thing. It's like, or like they're doing a TikTok or whatever. And I would probably, I may or may not even think about it.
Nope, I would 100% call the cops, especially if they're filming a TikTok. Anybody who's filming a TikTok in public needs the cops called on them immediately. They need immediately tased. If I walk into the bathroom and you got your phone set up at the sink and you're taking a TikTok you're shooting a TikTok in front of the mirror, I want to pee on you. I'm going to miss the urinal completely.
Well, I have hit a nerve.
Yep. Just the old curmudgeon in me is like, dude, stop. Don't
what
do
I'm
that.
Getting at is
anyway, yeah.
That I think that when you do weird things in public, in the sight of everybody, sometimes it's so weird people can't imagine that it's possibly true, and so they don't pay attention sometimes in weird ways. Like you can go up and like just attack somebody, and if it fits in the wrong, if you don't look like the right kind of person, or if it's at the wrong venue or context, it's amazing how much people don't notice.
Yeah. So many times, like you can kind of hide in plain sight to some degree.
Yeah.
But that's my only note. Like, how in the world did that? Is everybody at work? Because there's like today, I freaking drove to Walmart. It was like lunchtime. I drove out to Walmart and I thought to myself, I'm out in the middle of a workday running this errand. I did it around lunch, but also there's a bunch of people on the road. And I'm like, why aren't you people at work? And maybe lunchtime is a bad example to say that, but there are times when I'm, out at 3:00 and I'm like, why is everyone? So is everyone at work? Is this like a not? Because it looks like a beautiful park.
Yeah, there are beautiful parks with nobody there.
Why is no one there at this park?
There may have been no one there, but I don't think he cared.
I feel bad for Aaron at that point. Like that's where that kind of comes from, because you can't
feel
help
bad that he got axed in the head.
I feel bad that because he didn't need to die. He could have just wised up.
But he trusted the wrong guy.
He trusted. Like, this is just me being an old curmudgeon. People are dicks.
Yes.
Like, the world is filled with people who want to take advantage of other people. I'm not saying that everyone is. I'm saying that the world is filled with these types of people who are taking advantage. And I'm coming at it from the standpoint of like, he's clearly given you several opportunities to not trust him.
Right.
He broke into your house, cut some hair off of your head, and left a DVD on your windowsill. Why are you still in this apartment?
Yeah.
And then why are you playing it? He sent packages to your house, and you're like, well, he knows my address now, so that's a bit unsettling. Then move.
Yeah.
So you got axed in the head. I'm not saying Aaron deserved to die, but also, kind of he did.
he had an opportunity and didn't take it. Yeah,
He had so many opportunities.
I was thinking about how this is. You could almost see that as a bit of a kind of an allegory for like how many people, or an example maybe of how some people are so determined to be the nice one, to be congenial, to be nice and helpful, and blah blah blah, and not cause a ripple. Right? The people will go that so far as to put themselves into a obviously bad situation. And I mean, I know talking to Christy, she's talked about how, you know, being raised in the Christian South. I consider Oklahoma the South. A lot of Oklahomans don't, but it's the South.
Got it. Okay.
When you're raised in that environment, women are expected to be like the helper and the quiet, and, you know, just go along with it all. Just go along with it all, and not make waves. And she's like, you know, like with when the Me Too movement came along, you hear a lot about people like suddenly like, what, every single person I know, every woman I know has been sexually assaulted or in some way, shape, or form. It seems like,
right.
And she's like, a lot of that happens because women feel like they can't. They're in a rock on a hard place. Like they can't do anything about it. They've got to just smooth it over, and that's the better thing to do. And so, I don't know. That's not that it's. I don't think that it was meant as an analogy for that, but it just made me think about how Aaron is just trying to be so nice and he's so focused on being a good person that he misses the evil like literally next to him.
Right. Well, that's what
it's a good tip.
Right. Right. Joseph acknowledges that at the end. Yeah. Joseph is like, you're the best person in the world.
Right.
Like that type of person is the best person in the world. But the problem with being the best person in the world, okay, is that you get taken advantage of. The problem with swinging the complete other direction is that you take advantage of other people.
Right.
So somewhere in the middle, or maybe that you're completely skeptical of everybody and you miss out on the joys of life. Maybe that's the opposite. So the opposite of being taken advantage of is not that you take advantage of other people. It's that you miss out on, if you're always an optimist, then you will get taken advantage of other people. You will continue to return to relationships that are unhealthy, that are abusive, or whatever the case is. Or you'll make excuses. You'll continue to make excuses for people who really don't deserve excuses, don't deserve second chances, or whatever the case is. The other side of that is that you become so pessimistic and so jaded by the world and humanity that you miss out on actual joy. Yeah. Because you're always looking out for everybody's out to get you, that kind of mentality.
You're assuming that any joy must be coupled with pain somehow.
Right. So there has to be some sort of middle ground, which now we're talking about every freaking therapy session that I go to. and because in that idea of religious trauma that we kind of talked about in episode 19, like I just became this incredibly pessimistic person. Because I have an ideal in my head of the way that things should be. It is not playing out that way. As a matter of fact, it's playing out in the complete opposite way. So you just get this chip on your shoulder. And like, this just goes back to me telling my coworker when I was talking about just like, this is a perfect horror movie. We're going to go and we're being invited to these things, and we're going to go get a kidney taken out of us. And they're like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Everything's going to be just fine. And I'm like, you're the first to die. I want you to know that. If this is a horror movie, you're going to die. I'm going to run. Yeah. I'm going to go back I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to jump out the window of a 12-story building. Like, we can't find a way out. They trapped us in. I'm jumping out the window. Well, Zach, you'll break your legs. It's better than being dead. Like I'm out. But I also because of that would miss an opportunity to experience joy or
A cool experience. Yeah.
have a cool experience. So like there is this middle ground, and so I think that that's just the strength of this movie is that you have these two very, very, very different people on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You have a pathological liar who steals people's joy and preys off of manipulating other people. And then you have this complete optimistic person who will not give up in the face of every opportunity to, give up. Will never come to terms with that.
Yeah, I think that's one reason that this movie hit me so hard. When I watched it, I'm like, whoa. I just like sat there for a while because I am totally Aaron. I'd be like wide eyed going into it and like thinking the best and, oh, well, poor guy's, all sad and lonely. And I'd be trying to help the guy. And I need to be more careful. I'm not saying that like there's killer guys like this all over the place, but just I've caught myself in a lot of situations like buying a car or buying a house, doing things with the house, places where you have to negotiate or whatever. And I'm a horrible negotiator because I'm too optimistic and I'm like wanting to be nice and everything. But that's why I have my wife, because Christy's she's suspicious, and partly where she grew up was kind of a rough neighborhood, and she's like, you don't trust people. Like you just don't trust people there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, but what if it didn't? She's like, no. So I need that balance in my life. So
yeah.
But I just watching that movie, I'm like, that could have been me.
Yeah. Steve, we should talk about that a little bit deeper on an actual episode because we got to get you out of that place. We got to get you. I don't want you to die in a.
I need to be more cynical, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that you need to be the most cynical. I'm not saying we need to ruin your life.
Okay.
Your type of optimism is needed in the world.
Right.
To balance out the douchebaggery of other people. Okay. So, having said that, we just need to give you a little bit more self-preservation because it feels like you don't have any. You're just like, it feels like you'll get stabbed in the stomach and say thank you. Or apologize to the person
I'm probably overplaying it. I'm not quite as doe-eyed as that. But I do. I always want to look. I default trust people. I'm one of those people. I default trust anybody I see.
Yeah, and I don't do that at all.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better at that, mostly because of Christy, but I'm getting better because, self-preservation. And I've had too many situations where nothing huge, but where I've trusted somebody at first and it was not a good idea.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to be measured and balanced about it, but
yeah. No, my pendulum swung the opposite direction because like like for that particular church, like I trusted them fully. That's why I've said in the past, like they changed my diaper. Like that's a very intimate thing. It's not just like a routine kind of thing. It is, you're completely helpless as a baby and they're tending and intimately taking care of you in a way that you can't help yourself in that particular moment. And so that's just a metaphor for, the caring and nurturing nature of the way a church is supposed to be. And so when you do get hurt by that, like for me, the pendulum completely swung the opposite direction. And so I have to now force myself to be optimistic.
Yeah.
So that's why I went into this movie just to completely get off the religious trauma idea of that. I went into this movie knowing that Aaron was going to die, and you were like, maybe he might live. Like we had very different reactions to that.
Even up to the very end. You know?
Yep. And I was like, he hopeful. Deserves to die a little bit. And you're like, but maybe not. Like,
but hey, I mean, Aaron lived thinking he was doing a good thing, and he died. He didn't instantly died.
He instantly died.
You have to with it. And he was sitting there looking at the beautiful lake, thinking he was helping his friend, and that's how he died. So, would you rather be pessimistic and sad and lonely and paranoid all the time, or would you be optimistic and just get an axe in the head when you're looking at the beautiful lake?
I think I would never want to get an axe to the head. Like no matter what it is, what are the choices? I'm never going to side with axe to the head. Never. I'll take the lake all day long. That's very calming and relaxing and peaceful and to balance out the pessimism. But if you're creeping up behind me, bro, nope. I'm on a boat in the middle of the lake, so you can't axe me in the head. That's exactly. I'm freaking just Lonely Island, dude. I'm Lonely Island for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But that paranoia comment is a good segue into like some stuff that I want to talk about with It Follows, like because
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too because that's another great movie. Creep was a good movie.
You gonna watch part 2?
I'm definitely going to. I'm not gonna watch it soon, mainly because I don't think I'm gonna have. I don't think I'm gonna have time between now and the time we record tomorrow. But I kind of don't want to watch it too soon. Like I just need some space in between me and the creepiness. I might need to watch several episodes of The Golden Girls to really balance out, to really come off the creepy high that I feel right now. Anywho, I should go eat dinner. So
yeah, I'm gonna hop off too.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the quick recording of the bonus episode.
Yeah, man. All right, listeners, that's a wrap for another episode of Horrors Yet Unseen. Thanks for joining us.
And we'd love for you to become part of the conversation. Just drop us a voicemail at 1-216-202-5495 or email us at horrorsyetonunseen@gmail.com. And keep up with the latest by following us on Instagram. That handle is at horrorsyetonunseenpod. We'd also appreciate it if you like and review our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support means a lot to us. See you next time.